Elderly Americans are facing a serious threat in the form of abuse at nursing homes. The epidemic has been steadily growing in recent years, and I'm joined now by attorney Charles Meltmar, who's handled litigation against abusive nursing homes. Charles, there's an epidemic in the United States right now because the baby boomers are coming of age. They're having to find a place in their retirement years where they can feel safe, they can feel secure. If they have to go to a nursing home, they can go to a nursing home. Unfortunately, in the United States right now, that's a bit of a disaster, isn't it?
It is, Mike. And what families could do to make sure that their loved ones are cared for is to go to Medicare.gov and type in nursing home compare, and they can see there how their nursing homes compare to other nursing homes in the area. That way they can ensure that their loved ones get the best care available.
But what's happening, I mean, part of it is you have people with minimal qualifications that are in charge of many of these nursing homes. They have inadequate staffing almost across the board. You have insufficient training of people that has almost become epidemic. And you put them in there in very important jobs and they simply don't have the training. And then you have low wages and high turnovers. Now, if you take all of those facts, what you're talking about here is corporate America. The Goldman Sachs types are now involved with maintaining nursing homes in this country. Did I get that right?
Well, that's true. There are nursing home chains across the United States that own 300 to 400 facilities, and they're looking at the bottom line for each facility. They're putting emphasis on filling the facilities up and not so much emphasis on providing quality care to the people inside the facility.
Well, it's like the rest of the privatization. Here you have government, you have Medicaid, Medicare paying for, taxpayers are paying 75% of the bill here. But nevertheless, corporations are taking that money, and the numbers that I saw, they're keeping anywhere between 20 to 25 cents of every dollar that is paid into that nursing home, and they're trying to cut costs as much as possible. Now, you're an experienced, you've had the experience of having to go toe-to-toe with these nursing homes time and time again where you've had individuals. Your last case that you handled, a man was horribly burned simply because of, if you add it up, it was inadequate staffing, inadequate training, and this man was burned horribly, almost died because of it. That's not unusual to see in a nursing home setting, is it? Because of the new privatization of that whole process.
Well, in my case, the resident that was admitted into the facility had been there 4 months earlier and smoked in violation of their non-smoking policy. He hurt himself again, and the nursing home administrator saw on an internet that this gentleman was available to be transferred back into the facility. She contacted the corporate management of the nursing home and told her that this resident was non-compliant with the no smoking policy. And it was her testimony at trial that she was instructed to readmit this resident back into the facility because they had too many empty beds.
But the point being, I guess, Charles, the bigger picture is we see this repetitive process of, you have an industry here that is $87 billion a year industry. Is that number just about somewhere in the range of $87 billion a year? That's what changes hands. But anytime you have a corporation that is trying to make a profit, the first thing they're going to do is cut staffing. They're going to have minimal qualified people. They're going to have low wages. They're going to have high turnover. You simply can't do that in a setting where people need this kind of care, can you?
No, I mean, it's very difficult for corporations that aren't going to pay adequate salary to hold on to people that have the skills necessary to care for the residents in the facility. And sometimes they make decisions to admit residents that they can't adequately care for, like the case that I just went to trial on. They took in a smoker into a non-smoking facility and just didn't watch him, and they took him outside at 5 o'clock in the morning and left him alone, and he was horrifically burned. And that kind of decision to admit a resident like that is made at the corporate level simply to increase profits and fill their beds.
The numbers that I'm looking at, it's more than 30% of nursing homes in the United States, about 5,000 nursing homes, were cited with something as severe as abuse violations. In other words, this is beyond a this isn't just lack of competence. This is where the individual had been abused, intentionally abused in the nursing home. And part of that is because we have let regulations go out the window on how we oversee these nursing homes during a time when 1 out of 3 nursing homes in this country are responsible for things such as intentional abuse. Why is that happening today in America? We've got all these people, an elderly population moving in, needing nursing homes. Why is it now that we have such deregulation?
From my personal experience, what I see is that staff members are not adequately trained on how to care for demented or Alzheimer's patients. They don't know how to redirect them. And what happens is that the caregivers who are not adequately trained become frustrated and react in a violent or semi-violent way, which also ultimately results in an abuse citation and the facility being put into a special focus category.
And legislators at this point, the way I'm looking at this, Charles, legislators at this point receive a huge amount of money, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars a year from the nursing home industry for one thing, and that is to make certain that we further deregulate the oversight in nursing home. Has that been your experience?
What I've observed is that there is different levels of oversight in different states. The states take the Medicare money or the Medicaid money and allocate it as they see fit. In some states, there's better oversight than others. I don't want to identify states for you.
Well, Florida, for example, is horrendous. California is horrendous. Where did you get your last verdict?
In Virginia. And Virginia does not have, in my opinion, the most aggressive oversight of the nursing homes in the state. And what happens is a lot of times in Virginia, people fall between the cracks because the surveyors just aren't in the buildings.
So the only thing that we can do here is keep putting pressure on legislators, say, look, we know they're paying you off by paying you a lot of money, but this is my father, this is my mother, these are my relatives that are going to this nursing home, and we expect better. Charles, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.